Hello everyone, and welcome to the lesson of walkthrough product research, where in this lesson we will be going through step by step how to make sure that we are doing our due diligence when it comes to buying and selling products on Amazon. You know, one of the beauties about Amazon wholesale is we are able to sell products that already have demand. There's existing demand and people are buying products and consumers are looking for these brands. And our job is to simply supply the demand. But a part of supplying demand is making sure that we're actually delivering the correct product to the customer in the right fashion, that our business is profitable, and we're just doing our due diligence. And we're going to have a step-by-step guide in this lesson to really walk through on what we should be doing as sellers to verify that products are profitable, packaging is correct, after prep costs, are we profitable, what is the consistency in Keepa, who's on the listing, buy box statistics, just kind of like an overview of our process and what we recommend for you to do as a seller on Amazon to prevent any costly mistakes. We've had mistakes in our business that by an accident, a part of our buying process, we thought we were buying a product that was a very low ranked in health and household, and ends up being we get the product from our vendors, the wrong item, we can't return it, and now we're sitting, or we sold through inventory at a $4,000 loss because of one mistake. And that mistake was we didn't take the extra step to do our due diligence to validate that product was the correct product. It was the same type of flavor, same type of size, but it was two different brands that carry very similar products, and that led to a $4,000 mistake because of our we made one small error in our process of doing our due diligence. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that we are checking this stuff. So without further ado, let's get right into this. So the first thing that we want to be going over is, are you ungated or gated? So for those that are unaware of what ungating is or being gated means that Amazon is requiring approval to you. Now there is a few different types of gates, which I'll write in here as well. We have just a normal gating process. We have transparency. We have restricted. And we have hazmat. Right, so these are some different types of gates. Now, with the normal gating process, I don't want to take up too much space here. With the normal gating process, we need to have a few different things. Amazon is going to require a invoice from your supplier. We will have resources for you to help you with maybe certain brands, certain categories that you can get ungated with, that Amazon knows these distributors and suppliers that will ultimately push you through. Now, what Amazon asks for is a invoice with your billing address that matches your Amazon Seller Central account. They require 10 or more units purchased. They require the UPC to be on the product or some type of identifier to match the product that you're intending to sell. They are looking for a legitimate authorized source. And just making sure that everything on your invoice, on your documentation is valid and it's matching your Seller Central account. Now, when you go through an ungating process, it'll walk you through what they need. They tell you what you need, and you just need to provide the information to them. Now, transparency. Transparency is different than a normal gating process. Transparency is going to be a gating process where the brand within brand registry, more or less where brands control their brand on Amazon, they're able to leverage transparency to more or less create a barrier of supply chain. Now, the reason why transparency is beneficial is, let's say that you're a customer on Amazon. You're buying a beauty product like a cologne or a perfume, for either or, right? And beauty and perfume is a very highly counterfeit industry. So it would make sense for a brand to throw transparency on a Michael Kors perfume because it's highly counterfeit, right? So that way a customer can get the bottle of perfume and they say, oh wow, there's a transparency code, and that's what transparency is made for. It's made for supply chain. Now for us as sellers, if we don't get access to that transparency code, which you only can obtain the access from the brands, from being within brand registry, then you can't sell that product. It's gated, it's blocked. There is no getting approved, there is no approval besides working with a brand. Restricted is more or less a brand that is restricted across the majority of sellers on Amazon, where they can't sell the product. A brand has to go through a lot of different checkpoints to be able to get that approval from Amazon to be considered a restricted brand from third-party sellers. Hazmat is going to be a gating process where eventually you can get approved, but Amazon needs to invite you, at least for FBA inventory. You can sell hazmat inventory through FBM if that's something that you prefer and the math makes sense for your business. Then I'd recommend to do so as well. Now, the way that we're going to be able to check whether a product is gated or ungated is by looking at, for me personally, I like to either use RevSeller or AZ Insight. As a matter of fact, we use both. Either or is a great option. For us personally, I know Alex likes to use RevSeller. For us, we like to use AZ Insight. My business partner likes to use RevSeller. The reason why I like AZ Insight is because it also displays sales. So this is RevSeller up here. This is AZ Insight down here, right? So I can see an estimated monthly sales, which it's all in my face, so I kind of like that a little bit more. I feel like I save a little bit of time, and time is money. But it all comes down to personal preference. Now back to gating. On RevSeller, you'll be able to see it says sell new right here. And by this being green, sell new, that means that you are approved. If you're unsure and you find a product, go through the motion of clicking on this and pulling up Amazon's catalog and adding the ACE into your catalog and seeing if there's any additional restrictions. For this product right here, I can see that I'm approved. Yes, you are eligible to list this product in Amazon. AZ Insight's telling you that, as well as hazmat. If this is hazmat and RevSeller, this will come up as red. If you hover over, you can see. For AZ Insight, this little flame will come up as red. What is our unit cost? Right, so unit cost being what is our per piece cost. So if, let's just say that this secret deodorant is sold as a case pack of 24, my cost is $1 a unit per deodorant. That means that my cost for this would be $6. So my per unit cost is $1. It's a pack of 6, which gets me to $6. Now let's validate this to make sure. So how we want to validate our unit cost is based on a few different things. Either our supplier's portal, our most recently updated supplier spreadsheet, a supplier PDF, just more or less you want to validate any cost for a product with the most updated sheet, portal, website, whatever you can to validate that information. So let's say my cost was maybe $1 for the secret deodorant. It could have went up to $1.30. What's the difference in the profits there, right? So we want to validate that cost. So I have the catalog open here. If I take the UPC and I search it, I could see that my cost is 96 cents a unit, which means that if I go into this product and I take 96 cents and it's a pack of 6 on RevSeller, AZ Insight, all I got to do is do the 96 cents asterisk 6. So times 6 would get me to $5.76 is my cost, and that is my gross profit per sale before any expenses. So my unit cost times bundle quantity. Now sometimes on an Amazon listing, it's not going to just straight out say pack of 6. So there's a few different ways to figure out what is the pack size on Amazon. You can look at the images. So for example, this says it only shows one deodorant here, but I can see from here it says pack of 6. Look at the description, 1.7 ounce, pack of 6, powder fresh. I can see on here as well, this says package quantity, pack of 6, right? So number of items, 6, so it's clearly a 6-pack. So now I can validate that information. Okay, my unit cost is 96 cents, and I know that the pack size is a 6-pack. So I can do the math on what my gross profits would be. And then for this specific product, it is $6.45 in gross profit per sale. Now, if I go to, is this item profitable? Right now, we need to include our expenses into our calculation. For these softwares, you can include these costs in, right? So let's say that you know that your cost is 15 cents per pound. You can go into the back end of AZ Insight and include those costs for those products. That way, it automatically deducts your costs. For me personally, I like to actually just see it on a gross level and take that extra step because every single product is a variable. You know, I might receive this product as a 6-pack shrink tunnel together from my supplier that it's just really sold as it's sold as a set, and you know, and I can ship out a lot of inventory and get my costs down. Right, so there's a few different variables to look at when it comes to your expenses, and it's all different to a specific business. So if you're using a prep center, I would understand your prep center costs to a T. If you're operating in a warehouse, maybe a garage, you want to not only look at prep costs, supplies, and shipping, but labor. Right, if you're prepping products yourself, you should consider adding in a dollar amount. So let's say $16 an hour. $20 an hour, whatever you would hypothetically pay someone, include that into your cost. The reason why is because as you start to grow your business, it's only going to benefit you, right? It's only going to benefit you in understanding your numbers, because if you are trying to prep products yourself, you're trying to eventually get to a point where you can have employees. Why push the cost off? You don't need to include it into your expenses, but have that thought process of, okay, if I actually had an employee in my business, how profitable would this product actually be? Would it make sense after all expenses, right? So the way that we like to look at our cost when it comes to our business is taking our total expenses and dividing it by the number of units that we sell. And then that way you can get a number. So let's just say your business costs you $5,000 a month. You sell 5,000 units. Your cost is $1 on average for every single product you sell. So for this product, if that is the number plus $1, my net profit I can expect is $5.45 at a 27% net profit margin, 81% net ROI after all expenses. Now, if you're someone that would prefer to look at the product on a basis of, okay, I just want to look at prep supplies, shipping, etc. So maybe your prep center is charging you, for a bundle, 75 cents. Right? So plus 75. $5.70. Now let's calculate shipping costs, $1.08. If it costs you 15 cents a pound, or it's a little bit over 1 pound. So 1 pound times 15 cents, right? So 1.08 times 0.15 will get you to 16 cents. I like to be conservative and just kind of buffer it up a little bit in a scenario where my cost is a little bit higher than I expected, as well as Amazon is coming out with some new inventory placement fees where you might have to pay additional fees. RevSeller does include this here, inbound placement. I would pick which one is best for your business, include that cost in there as well. So this was around 20 cents, so I'm going to add 20 cents, and my net profit is $5.50, 27% net margin, right? I'm happy with that product. Now let's take this a step further. Is the brand on the listing, or is there an exclusive seller, right? So I can see here there's 7 FBA offers, there's 14 FBM. By looking at this listing, I can go down the offer count. The offer count looks very healthy. So the drop in sellers is correlated to the rank here. So you can see the rank was very low at 3,300. Offers are going down steadily like a staircase and not just a straight drop. So IPs will be like just like a straight drop. Whereas, a steady drop over time, a steady staircase over time is showing that people are organically selling through inventory. And I could tell by the offers, the fluctuation of it going from, 7 here to 21 and 34 down to 24. I can see that consistency of people buying products, selling products, buying products, selling products, and there's no hiccup of either an IP complaint or one consistent seller selling the product on Amazon. So for me, that checks the box. Next step. Now we need to check Keepa, right? So we need to make sure that what's going on with this Keepa chart. So I go on this listing. I see here, I mentioned in some previous videos, for me, I like to keep things simple on Keepa. The most important data to me to make the best buying decisions is what I have up right now. Sales rank, buy box, Amazon, third-party FBA, new offer count. It keeps it a lot more sleek. Just my opinion, keeps it a lot more sleek. It makes the data a lot more easier to read. And ultimately, what my main focus is when it comes to buying are these things. How good is the rank? Am I competing with Amazon? If so, how much? Who am I competing with on FBA offers? Am I competitive at their price? What does the offer count look like? And where's the buy box? Is there a buy box? Right? FBM is in the equation, but at the same time, I'm really competing with FBA more than FBM. And you can tell if FBM is like on the buy box, and I would pop it up and just kind of see whether or not it's something you can be competitive with. For us, we like to look at it like this. So now let's walk through the steps. The first step is going to be, is Amazon on the listing? Right? So I like to go out a little bit further all time, and I can see that there is some orange on this listing, but the buy box is running right through this Amazon price. So Amazon was priced at $29.99. The new mall, Primetime LLC, was selling this product for $13.39, right? And more importantly, the buy box is below Amazon's price. So Amazon is non-competitive on this listing. So check mark. That's good. Amazon seems like they're not a picture on this listing. There was a little bit of Amazon coming in at $16.50, $15.90, $17.30, right? And now what I'm going to do as a seller is I'm going to look at that and analyze my risk, right? So if Amazon came in at $18, they were competitive at $18. At $18.16, am I still making money? Yes. If I need to drop below this price down to $16.12, am I still making money? Right? And this is net profit after all expenses. Yes, I'm still making money. Right? So what this data is telling me is that this could be potentially be a great buy for our business. Right? Amazon's been kind of on the listing, really not, over the course of a very long period. They've never really been competitive on the buy box. But worst case scenario, if they came in at $18, which is lower than the price today, selling at $21, can I still beat them based on the data? Yes, I can. And it shows that third party is winning this listing, that they're dominant on this listing. Is this sales rank healthy? Right? So even though the rank has gone up to 49,000, we need to look at why is it going up. Right? So the price increased from $16.99 to $18.49. $1.50 is a decent amount for deodorant, and not only did it go from $16.99 to $18.49, but it increased up to $20.99. And you can see the direct correlation here from, if you hover over the third-party FBA, you can almost see the direct correlation from the rank right here at 8,000, 10,000, going up to doubling to 35,000 because the price increased. Right? And why did the price increase? Because the offers started to decrease, supply and demand. Right? Supply started to get lower. People, they're the ones with supply. They're able to increase their price. They're able to get a higher margin. But what happens? Then velocity starts to slow down a little bit. So it's a give-take type of thing. Right? But here, what this is telling me, the rank is healthy. It's selling slower, but at the same time, at $21, right? We're making $6 a sale. I'm happy with that. 100%. At the end of the day, that's net profit, right? That's net profit after all expenses. So I'm happy with that. If I wanted to get this product selling quicker, we could drop this down to $17, see $251 a sale and net profit at 15% margin. And it's still a great product for our business. So that's great. Is the price consistent? Yes, the price is consistent. Right, the price is consistently going from $16.30, $16.99, $18.49, $18.45 to $20. Right, so the price in the course of the past year is very, very consistent. Now, a price that wouldn't be consistent is, let's say it's going from 25 to 15, and it's just constantly fluctuating. This is a consistent Keepa graph where pricing is staying similar to the range of, let's say, $16 to $22. It's staying between that range, and it's consistently there. So yes, the price is consistent. Is there any indicator of IP complaints? So on this Keepa graph, we kind of went over it a little bit. We noticed that there has not been any indications of IP complaints at all. Everything is a organic drop, right? It just looks like a mountain. It just looks like you're in the Rockies, and you're just seeing a range of mountains on the offer count, and it's a healthy drop. It's not a cliff. So there is no indications of IP complaints on this listing. All right, after reviewing Keepa, what is the worst case scenario? So I kind of went over this a little bit with Amazon, but we want to run through this motion of really understanding, okay, what is the worst case scenario? For me, I like to look at a Keepa graph in the past year. A past year worth of data is a good amount of data to make a very good buying decision in my business. So what I'm looking for is almost the lowest price it's sold in the past year. So lowest price it sold was right around $16.25. Right? $16.25, we're still making money. Let's say my cost, hypothetically, was $8.50. Right? We're breaking even right now at $16.25. But since October, it's selling at $18.49, and this is after all expenses, everyone. We're still making $1.99 in net profit, right? And it's been that way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It's selling at $20.50. So at this time, we're making $3.72 in profit. I'm still willing to test it. I'm still willing to see, right? Because worst case scenario, I'm not losing money. After all expenses involved with the product, after buying it and selling it, worst case, I'm breaking even. Best case scenario is I could sell, let's say, 36 units a month at, $3.72 in net profits, or we're making $135 in net profits after all expenses on this one item. I mean, you add, 25 products like that, you're talking about $3,500 in net profits every single month, just like that. So for me, I'm willing to test this product. So our tolerance is really understanding, okay, what is the worst case scenario? If my cost was, let's say, $10.50 here, right, and we're making 8% net profit right now, but over the course from January down to April, right, it sold at $18.45, we're breaking even here, losing a little bit of money, and at $16.30, right, we're losing money now, right? We're losing. We're negative. We're no longer breaking even. We're losing money. This is where my tolerance is very, very low, where that shift of saying, okay, the majority of the data, I like to look at Keepa as a percentage, almost in a way. A year is 100%, right? And from February, March is, what is that? 2 divided by 12. That is around 15%, let's just call it. 15% from February to March, it's profitable at 8% net margin, which is a low margin to start with, right? And the remaining 85% is not profitable. So why take the risk? It's not worth the risk, right? Whereas if you flip the equation here, and our cost is 96 cents times 6, at $16.30 in gross profit plus, let's say, $1 for all of our expenses, to just keep it easy, we're making $1.86. 100% of the time in the past year, our business is profitable. It's profitable. It's a go, right? If our cost was $8.50 at $16.30, right? From $16.30, he was selling at $16.30 from October to April. So April, what is that? Around 6-7 months, so around 50%, right? So there's a 50% chance that I will make money on this product selling at $18.50 at a solid margin, and at $21, we're making even a better margin, right? So there is a 50% chance that I will be profitable on this product. That's at least a test buy worthy. That's the way I like to look at Keepa, the risk tolerance associated to the products that I'm researching. All right, now we want to make sure that after going through all these steps, the product is profitable, it makes sense, the data makes sense, my risk tolerance is there. Let me check a website called UPC SiteMD. So UPC SiteMD is more or less a website that allows you to look up UPCs and check packaging and information and titles that you could search on Google to potentially find more listings, right? And outside of that, it tells you if you're looking at the right product and if there's any packaging changes for the item. So I could see here, powder fresh, 1.7 ounces, solid, right? This is solid, powder fresh, 1.7 ounces. Right, and if I wanted to take this a step further, I could also look this up on Google and just kind of see here if everything still makes sense and it's the correct item. Walmart. Right here it is too, secret. So I can just see by looking at Google, this is the correct product, right? So I check the ounces, I check the brand, I check the variation, I check the fragrance or the smell or the flavor of it. So I'm trying to validate every single step that I can to make sure that the product that we're looking at is in fact the correct item. All right. So like I said, look at all details. Pay attention to detail when it comes to walking through this motion here. Now the next thing is to figure out a buy quantity. So what kind of buy quantity do we want to test buy on a product like this? Right? So the first thing that I saw here is that this is a variation listing. So AZ Insight tells us this product is selling 307 sales a month, but we don't know if 307 are going to this variation or this variation. So we need to do our due diligence and check the variation listings and see. So there's a few different ways that we can do that. On AZ Insight, we can go to variations, search the variation in ASIN, and what I like to do is look at the rating percentage. So this says 85%, as well as the reviews. This says 95%, really 96%. On RevSeller, what are they saying? So they have variation viewer right down here. It's going to load the variation. And I can see that this is saying the 1.7 ounce 6-pack has 100% of the variation reviews, right? So they're telling me two different things. I'm going to do a little bit more due diligence for myself, and how I'm going to do that is by going on to these ratings, going down to see more reviews, and now check for show only reviews for this specific variation. Now I can see that this is in fact correct. 847 total reviews are for this item. So now I know that the estimate that AZ Insight is providing me, 307 sales, is going to this listing. Now I also see Amazon's providing us with a little bit of data at 200 plus bought in the last month. Right? So now that's another data point. I know that 200 people bought this. AZ Insight's telling me that maybe 300 people are buying it, so I might want to be in the middle. Maybe 250, 260, 240. Right? And now I know that the variation is going to this specific product. The next step is to see, okay, how many people am I competing against? So RevSeller is saying 4 within 3%. AZ Insight is saying 5 within 3%. Now, the reason why we want to choose within 3% is because Amazon will give sales to people that are priced within 3%. if you're not on the buy box, you're not going to make as many sales, but you could be, you know, let's say at 2080 here and still make sales. So that's why you want to factor them in as a buy box competitive offer. Now, something to consider is that the buy box does not rotate equally. Okay, it does not rotate equally. You want to estimate as if it will, but you really don't know how much buy box share you can get until you're on a listing. And that's why we always want to make sure that we're test buying products to not only make sure that we're selling the correct item, that we're not going to be sitting on cash that won't turn, right? And it won't be utilized to make our business cash flow. So, you know, that's more or less, we need to understand, okay, there is 4 within 3%, but am I actually going to be getting an even split? And that's what's beautiful about Keepa, is that on the buy box statistics, it allows us to see, okay, is there one seller that's dominating this buy box? And I can see here, once it loads, right, the buy box looks fairly evenly split between all these sellers, but I like to look at 180 days, right? So 23%, 9%, 9%, 8%, 7%, 6%, 5%. So I can see that this buy box is being rotated fairly equally. So you can come in and do a, you know, this hypothetical split evenly 240 sales divided by X, or, you know, listing sales divided by X, and get you to a solid test buy number. I still like to always test buy depending on the rank. If it's a higher rank, I might even go lower, but I'll test buy anywhere from 12 to 24 units, sometimes 36 if it's selling a little bit quicker. So for this item, the estimated sales, I'm going to go with 240 because it says 200, 307 here, right? So 240. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the 5 offers within 3% to get us a little bit more conservative number here. But it's not only 5 people within 3%, it's plus the buy box seller plus us. So it's 7 people in total that is competing for sales on this product. So 240, that's the estimated total sales, divided by 7 people in total, so 5 within 3%, 1 buy box seller plus us coming onto the listing, is around 36 sales and estimated sales a month. That is a solid, that's kind of aggressive test buy, right? That's more or less like the opportunity of the listing. I would recommend to go 12 to 24 units to start, see how well it sells, get some real data, see if there's returns, and then come back and buy more inventory. All right, I also forgot to mention here regarding reviews. So for every single review that you see on Amazon, so I'll just show everyone, when you go into the review section for a specific variation of a product, I like to kind of use the basis of around every single review is like 100 sales. I would say is a solid estimate, around 100 sales. But it also comes down to the frequency of those sales. So, for example, there is 2 sales in January. I would say that's aligned. Let's say there's 1 sale in January and there hasn't been one since October. I would base that number lower. I would rather use the estimate that Jungle Scout, Helium 10, AZ Insight, SellerAmp gives you than this estimate here that I'm giving you. But you just want to keep this in mind. Right now, you also want to consider when it comes to buying products on Amazon, you want to look at the lens as a consumer. What are consumers saying? So you can see here that some people are saying, I dislike the smell and the way that it went on comparison to other ones that I bought, right? That is nothing to do with, that's just a review, right? That's an organic review. If you're seeing a lot of broken glass, broken packaging, customers consistently saying they're not happy with the product, consistently people returning it, at that point, you want to kind of be like, aha, there is a possibility that this product has a high return rate. Maybe I should even go more conservative on the product, or not even buy it depending on what's there, right? So we kind of went through the motion of all the steps, right? But I do want to go over some other products here that we can use as an example to just continue to take the extra step, right? So we went over the secret. The secret looked good. We would want to add this into our product research template, which is in here. This right here is going to be more or less building out a database. I recorded the other videos first before this one, so that's why there's some products in here. But as you guys continue to move on to the lesson, you'll learn about this. This right here is more or less a database of products. The goal here is to allow your business to build a foundation of potential products and leads where you can not only get quotes from suppliers, but build a foundation of using data to back your company. You know, the last thing that you want is, let's say you're doing $10,000 a month in profits, and you know you have 10 products to make you $1,000 to get you to that number, and 3 of those products were from one brand, and those 3 in that one brand got, you know, taken down from Amazon, or you got blocked from it. You're losing a third of your business, regardless of the scale, right? Relative to scale, you're losing a third of what was there. That's what this is what this database is all about, is building a database. So, okay, I can pivot. And, you know, outside of continuing to go through this and showing you additional products, I'm currently in the process of building a software for everyone to leverage in their businesses to help them with building a foundation of a business that they didn't even know that they need. I'm really excited about it. If you're watching it, you made it this long, please let us know if you want to be involved with the software, start to use it. It really is such a fantastic resource. There will eventually be modules on that to kind of walk through when it does get released. At the time that I'm making this, it's currently in development still, but we will get to that point. Let's review the remaining 2 products that I have here. So the next one will be got to be stackable, right? So first thing is I want to make sure that this product I'm not gated in. So I could see I'm approved to sell, right? So let's go through the motion here. I'm gated. I'm not gated. What is our unit cost? All right. Take the UPC or look it up. So imagine that we're sourcing, right? You're trying to find the UPC. You're trying to find some information. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to make it quicker. But you want to be able to search products in your catalog and find them. And we go over that as well. So my cost here is $5.04. All right. And I can see that I'm breaking even on this product. So at that point, I just want to take a quick look at Keepa. Am I selling at a very low price today? Before I go into another step, I want to take a look at Keepa. What is going on with Keepa? And where is that consistent price, right? So I can see that consistent price is pretty much right where it's selling at today at $25.56, which means that we're making $1.80 in gross profit, 7% margin, right? I could also use AZ Insight here as a buy box, and I can see the 90-day average is $25.77, which is pretty close to where I was. Now, this item is an item that's worthwhile to ask for better pricing, right? If we got, let's say, 5% off, what does this product look like, right? $256 a sale, we might need a little bit more. 504 times 3 times, let's say, 8%, right? Now we're talking. Now we're in a range where if I added $1 of expenses, you know, we're still making 8%, $2 a sale, and it might not be the best margin in the world, but it is a stepping stone to getting better margins in your business and building out a fantastic relationship with the supplier that has this product. So it's all about the long-term vision of an item, right? We're just using this as an example. So 504, right? So this is an item now that I have a possibility of, can I get better pricing from them, right? Now let's look at the big picture of the product, right? Is it a hazmat, anything like that? No, it's not. What is the Amazon pack size or the bundle quantity? So I saw a pack of 3 here. That's why I found out the math, as well as I can see here, 3 pieces of 2 ounces. This says package quantity of 1, but we know based on what's here that it is in fact a 3-pack on the title, the price, and what's up here, it's a 3-pack. Now, we know that the item is not really that profitable, right? We're trying to get a discount on this product. So now, is the brand on the listing or is there an exclusive seller? I see that there's 4 offers and 6 FBM. I can notice in the offer count on the Keepa graph, it looks very healthy. There's never been an indication of the product having an IP complaint. It looks like mountains and staircases, which means that sellers are selling through organically. I can see that the price is fairly consistent on the listing, which is a good sign. Right, so is Amazon on the listing? Amazon's never been on this listing. That's why they're not popping up, which is a good thing. Is the sales rank healthy? Yes, it is, right? And the way that we could tell that the sales rank is healthy is by the dips. It's consistently dipping. It's consistent, up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, even though the rank is a little bit high, the range is high, you can still see that it's selling based on the Keepa graph, right? The Keepa graph is very choppy. It's very, diced up in a way, which means that the product is making sales. That's a good thing, right? Buy box, FBA. Are offers increasing or decreasing? Right? I can see that there's a fluctuation of going down, going up, going down, going up, going down, right? So what's going to happen? Most likely the price is going to increase a little bit up to $29. And at that point, then people are going to notice the product. They're going to see, oh, wow, I can make, at $29, I can make $6 a sale without looking at the previous Keepa data if they're not getting a discount. And what happens? They end up selling products at nearly a break even because they're not doing their due diligence if this is their price, right? So that's what we want to look at. Is there an indicator of IPs? No. Or the buy box statistics healthy? Go to buy box statistics. All right, this person has 47%, 29%, so a large chunk so far in the past 30 days is going to those 2 sellers. But in the past 180, we have 32, 22, 11, 8, 8, 6, 3, right? So these sellers are fairly larger sellers on Amazon that are taking up a larger portion of the buy box. So I know now if I see them on Keepa at a lower price, am I competitive with them? So I can see Mr. Medical is at $24.87. They are an FBA seller, though, right? This guy is Sabago, $28.51 past 180 days, right? He's an FBA seller. So now I can see, okay, these guys have a decent amount of buy box share. If I can get it for the right price, I still want to test buy it and make sure. But I can get in the rotation, right? There's more than 40% left of potential buy box opportunity if I don't take any away from them. All right. Now, after reviewing Keepa, what is the worst case scenario? So this product here really isn't that profitable, right? We need to make it profitable. So the worst case scenario right now is that we're not going to make any money if we buy it. So we need to focus on how can we make it profitable. So let's make sure that we can, that this product is in fact the same item, right? So got to be defined, shine, pomade, right? Shine, 2 ounce. 2 ounce. Right, we can look at the reviews and see if any pictures come up. Get a nice pretty lady here. Hate the price gouging, leaking jars. These are the most recent reviews. Deceptive picture on Amazon. So the reviews look good. 4.7 stars. It looks like there's been some reviews recently on the product. And even though this isn't coming up on the packaging, we can always take the UPC and look it up on Google as well, which I'd recommend to do to validate that if you're concerned about this packaging compared to that. But just based on what's here, if I was profitable, I'd be willing to test it, as well as I can match the UPC on the listing, and I can see here that the UPC is the same. All right, so that should be another validation checkpoint for you. Right now, figuring out a buy quantity, would going through the motion of what is the sellers on the listing, right? So we have 100 plus bought. This says 200. Let's find a happy medium. So let's say 150, right? There's two within 3%. All right, so 150 divided by 4 gets us to around 36 sales a month, but it's a 3-pack, right? So we'd be buying 108 units from our supplier, which means that there's opportunity to potentially get a better price. So we're buying this for, let's say, instead of 504, we can get this product for, 504 times 8% gets us to 464. That's $500 in one item in cost of goods if the product makes sense for your business, right? So at that point, there could be opportunity to negotiate if you can find a few more products here. So, all right, so that's how we kind of walk through the motion on this product. And this last product here is going to be a hazmat, right? So we can see that the hazmat sign came up here, and now we know, okay, this product is hazmat. If I'm not FBA approved, can I sell this product? Now, also, when something is in hazmat review, Amazon won't let you send these products into Amazon's fulfillment centers. That is also why a keep a chart where there is no FBA sellers on the listing should raise a red flag, right? You're not the only person looking at these products. You're not the only person that's seeing profits, potential opportunities. So if other people could have jumped on this opportunity, they would have sooner, way before you, right? So that should really raise a red flag to you and your business. If you wanted to ship this product FBM, let's say that this cost here from our supplier, right, is 88 cents. It's a 2-pack, 88 cents times 2. Gross profit is 467. Here Rev Seller gives us an estimated shipping cost, which means our net profit would be $1.38 on this. It says ship to buyer, $3.28, right? So if you wanted to play with $1.50 in net profit at 20% margin, this product might make sense for your business. After all expenses, whatever your expenses are, right? But we want to make sure that this product is the correct item. Oops. All right. I can see here, jumbo, pencil, 28 grams, net 1 ounce. 28 grams, net 1 ounce. All right. Up here, 2, stops bleeding fast. Stops bleeding fast. Ideal for razor nicks. Ideal for razor nicks and minor cuts. All right, so now we know it's the same product. We know that it's hazmat. We can sell the product. It's just hazmat. We know that it's potentially profitable, depending on your expenses. If you want to ship it out FBM, it's a lower profit per sale, variable to whatever seller wants to be selling the product, if it makes sense. We also can tell that it's not a exclusive brand listing. I don't see anywhere on the Keep a chart when I hover over the buy box that a brand's on the listing. I can see the offer count's healthy. I could see that the Keep a chart is consistent, right? The rank recently went down. And most likely is because the price decreased not that much, to be honest. It's been very consistent. This price has been very consistent. But it looks like the rank has gradually started to decrease, which is a good thing, right? More sales. Pricing is consistent. Offer count's consistent. No IP complaints on the listing, it looks like. Everything looks organic, right? This all looks like a worthy potential test buy. Buy box statistics. Let's see what's going on with the buy box statistics. All right, past 180 days, I see 2 sellers make a very large portion, and there's some fairly large sellers on this listing, right? So if you're a brand new seller on a listing like this, it might be difficult to compete, truthfully. You're dealing with 2 sellers that have over 100,000 ratings. These guys have 33,000, 3 people with 33,000. Everyone's got over 1,000 ratings, right? So getting some buy box share could be difficult on a listing like this. So you want to take that in consideration. For buy quantities, this is saying 300 plus ball in the month. This says 387. So we'll stick to 380. All right, I see that there's 0 people within 3% on FBA. But FBM, if I click on these offers, right? Click on new from 13. I want to count people that are within this price. So $6.99, $6.98. So 1, 2, 3, right? So 3, I would say 4 people. 4 people is a solid estimate within this price range. So 380 divided by 4 is 96 sales a month, or it's 95, but I'm just going to bump it up to an even number, 96 sales, right? So now I know that there's potential. Our product's making us $1.38 times 96 sales is $132 in profits. Right there, that's $300 in profits between 2 products that we know, the secret and this item, if we wanted to sell this product after all expenses, if it made sense for your business. We made sure that the product was the correct item. We checked all of the potential sales, how much sales can we make, and now we'd be adding this product to our product research template. So I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this video, a walkthrough. Really the motion is making sure that we are doing our due diligence, right? The product's the same product. What is the consumer saying? How healthy is the rank? How healthy is the profits? How healthy is the buy box statistics? Is the pack size correct? Is it the correct item? Are you profitable? Pre-expenses and after expenses. Are you able to negotiate and get better pricing? Right? Is there enough volume to ask for better pricing? What sellers are on the listing, right? So these are kind of like the motions of the gauge of, all right, my supplier has carries the product. I'm looking at the product. It seems like a potential opportunity for my business. Let me do the due diligence, and extra due diligence for your company only benefits you. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.